Hello, and welcome to the Sad Dads Club podcast. Here's everybody's favorite sad dads, Jim and Foo.
Hamna. What was it, Eddie Murphy? Hamna.
Yeah, that was Delirious, I think.
Had to be. I don't think it was Raw.
No,
Was it?
I think
I don't know if I could separate the two anymore.
Raw was the second one, right?
Well, yeah.
I think it was Delirious.
The Michael Jackson full leathers.
Yeah. Oh, shit. You're right. I don't think I can either. I have to watch them.
There's no way I could separate. I think the Bill Cosby jokes came in Raw because he took heat for... He made that a joke because of his Delirious skits.
He was before his time.
Yeah. And he was ripping on Bill Cosby for it before it was okay.
Yeah. Because Bill Cosby was still the not rapist back then.
Yeah. And the pudding, the raping. What? The chocolate pudding.
Well, I thought you had a raping in there? I don't know.
What was that? I can't.
I put some stuff in your pudding cup.
Yeah. And then we'll go on the dating with the pudding and the drugging. And then the sucking. What? Wait, I need you to wind that one back for me.
Wait, I heard... what?
The pudding, the drugging?
The sucking? What?
Oh. Shit.
Oh, damn.
That's not great, Bill.
Oh, what a week.
Yeah, it's like winter apocalypse.
It was so fucking windy. Like, what in the hell?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it's Colorado windy, but for here, it's pretty damn windy.
Yeah.
I mean, we...
Or the Delta windy.
Yeah, we lost a canopy cover. We have to replace now. It's shredded. The patio cover.
Yeah.
Gone. Well, to be fair, Shanna accidentally ripped it. She was trying to get some leaves off it, and she was poking it, and it went. And it had
so the small tear turned into.
I'm like, oh, we were out there cleaning up before when it started getting real windy.
Yeah.
And I looked up and went, yeah, we're fucked. That thing's gonna go. And sure enough, this morning it's just flapping.
I
around.
remember seeing the. Because we got a National Weather Service alert through Amazon, I think. And then
what?
Like the lady
will
shoot out.
I thought like
alerts.
The Amazon shopping website's like, hey, better check your fucking weather.
Yeah. By the way, your stuff's gonna be late because of weather. It was somewhere maybe early morning, midday, and it was like high wind, and I went, oh man, I knew it was gonna get cold, and I knew we were supposed to get rain and snow, but I didn't know anything, and I'm like kind of, oh, maybe this is like for closer to the valley or something, and holy shit, out of nowhere, just after sunset, I think, it went 0 to 11.
It went nuts,
and it went fucking balls out. It's like, hey, how about this?
Well, it was like we got all this stuff in the back, and then we started picking up. Like, I had to prop a ladder up against the fence to make sure it didn't completely come down.
Oh,
we're at that point.
Oh yeah.
So I've got a fence that I have to rebuild along with a gate. So we did that, and then it's like Shan's like stuffing stuff around the table. Right? Like, and the cushions and stuff.
Yeah.
Like stuff that'll just blow away super easy. And I'm like, no, that stuff needs to come in because looking at this wind, and they're saying it's supposed to be up to 50 or 60 mile an hour plus.
Yeah.
We need to bring it in, put it in the garage. So
that was like part of it too. Like I read that alert and went 50, 60. Like,
they say that a lot, I feel like.
And fucking where is this coming from?
It never comes to fruition.
No.
It's like, oh, like, see that wind event?
Donna's going to lose power. 50 to 60, whatever. Yeah. Hashtag hi, Donna. I love you, Donna.
Absolutely. But
also,
this
was legit.
She lives up on top of a ridge where it's exposed.
Yeah.
And that's...
You expect to win.
I mean, yeah, there you totally would expect it.
But yeah, this one was like no joke. Here comes the wind.
And it's still going. It's still pretty windy. I mean, it's not yesterday windy, but it's still pretty windy.
Yeah.
Or last night windy. And then there's a big hunk of that damn tree in the backyard came down in the yard.
Oh, your terror tree.
Yeah, our shitty bang bang.
Hi ho, chitty chitty bang bang, chitty chitty bang bang. We love you. Chitty chitty bang bang.
Yeah, exactly. That tree.
We were lucky because we had the dumpster. So over the weekend, I had filled the dumpster with the spa.
You're not talking about Timmy's mom.
No.
Okay.
She doesn't do drop-offs like that.
Okay.
You have to go to Timmy's mom.
Okay.
I had pretty close to filled it.
Uh-huh.
And we had like a
dumpster?
The dumpster, the orange dumpster that's out
okay.
front.
Yeah, that one.
So we had filled it with all the like spa cut up, and I had figured as I had disassembled the spa and started pre-sorting it near the gate. Was that you or me?
That was me.
Did your wife get her Wi-Fi?
You knew exactly what that was. I'm afraid to look.
Yeah,
but keep going on with your story.
So we as I was looking pre-staging the stuff for the dumpster, I went, "Fuck, we may need to have it emptied. I think for $80 you can have it emptied for the week that you have it."
Uh-huh. So an extra emptying.
It's an extra emptying. I went, well, if we run into extra stuff, I don't only just want the spa. Like, it's a chance to just like
purge.
An early spring cleaning, household garbage, get it gone.
Yeah.
So Venus,
all of Venus's stuff.
Yeah, all of those piles that we have, extra computer power supply, whatever's. So we had decided Sunday we'll have it emptied so that we can start fresh again.
Uh-huh.
So I had filled it over the weekend, pretty close, but it had more space than I had anticipated. So I had almost emptied everything that I had anticipated 2 runs in the one full thing. And I went, well, I'm in a good place. They picked it up Sunday, emptied it, and I was just about to preface, like, getting hold of you and Mike and be like, hey, if you've got some household stuff that you need to,
I'll tell you what,
get rid of without having to make a run to the dump.
I got a set of GTI tires and wheels in my backyard I'd like to get rid of.
They don't take tires in the dumpster. The wheels, if we like cut off the tires, the wheels they would probably take. But I was just there. I was like, I've got a dumpster. If someone wants to not have to make a run to the dump or something, I would have space.
Yeah.
Fast forward to the Blizzard Apocalypse Windstorm Tunnel Juggernaut 6000.
Yeah.
I lost the RV gate, and it was just like, now I filled up the dumpster. I just disassembled that shit, sawzalled and sledgehammered, and now it's full of the RV gate.
Yeah.
And, now I've got no room, and they pick it up tomorrow.
And a hole in your fence.
At a hole in the fence.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things, too. Like, I don't know how your fence orientates. I was having this conversation with my boss. I don't think I've rebuilt that chunk of fence since we've been here.
Mm-hmm. Which is probably a good chance it's never been.
Right.
Yeah.
And it is a line of fence that for this piece of property is like directly in the winds, how the wind drafts through here. It's a like perpendicular to the wind.
Yeah.
And the way that I had put up the slats, I think I had replaced the slats, but I hadn't replaced the fence. It acts, it's just flat out like a airfoil.
Yeah.
Like, and the
blown
posts,
against a brick wall.
the post that I had never replaced finally just gave out.
Yeah.
So I was talking like, oh man, finally it's an opportunity to try and look at a way to put slats in here that are more wind friendly, because I can't get around needing a fence there, but I also can't get around the fact that wind comes at it perpendicular like a goddamn dam. It's like a wind dam. It's just terrible.
You're gonna have to figure that part out. Maybe
so
like
it was. I looked
at
front end a couple different what?
Yeah,
a truck.
Like a semi front end. You just drop it there so it protects the fence.
Oh yeah, just pull a bunch of cars.
Yeah.
Up.
Yeah.
It goes to the other.
Well,
YouTube
maybe
channel.
actually, probably what's even worse is that the RV's not there.
It probably doesn't help. Yeah, because now it comes straight through the backyard.
At least the RV's a wind blocker, right?
Well, yeah, yeah. I would hope. But I mean, like I said, we said in the last couple of podcasts, the moving the RV out was like the last gasp of that gate. We were talking earlier.
Yeah.
Like last night when the wind started.
Yeah, you knew.
It was like, how far has the gate fallen? Because I know it was going.
Yeah.
And it was like, so I walked out there. Some were probably, like I said, probably about an hour into it. And it was like, I'm trying really hard not to. And I just kicked it over so that way I didn't have to listen to it like all night and wonder, what was that loud bang? Was that the gate or some other piece of fucking fence that I will have to fix later?
Well, it could have been worse.
Turns out. So I just
one of your big ass trees in the back could have fallen over or something.
Right, because we saw your post.
Yeah,
I did lose a lot of limbs. But
you only have 4.
Yeah. What? They grow back. I'm a machine.
You're like a lizard tail.
Yeah, like a starfish.
Lizard tail legs and arms.
But my oak trees certainly are a concern because same scenario. It was really wet.
They're huge.
Really big, old, and obviously in this area things are prone to just falling over because the soil sucks so bad.
It's like a retirement center back there. It's like a bunch of big old things.
Yeah, and the amount of river rock, because we had, good Lord. I can't wait till it's your turn. I'm gonna drop testicles and ball sacks all over.
I'm used to it.
Yeah, that's just a regular Friday night.
Do you see this?
You see the dents?
You see this mark?
You'd like to tell people you shave. Really, it's just abrased off.
I wish I could say the bruises are for my wife beating me, but it's just ball drags. Yeah,
the bludgeoning.
Yeah.
The first residents here, and the joke with the rocks is they had, hundreds, if not possibly like a ton of rocks around the base of the oak trees, and all that does is compress the roots and
helps to rot them.
Yeah, so we had removed, and they had the vinyl underlayment all the way up to the trunks.
Yeah,
so that didn't help either because there was mold in there.
Moisture and doesn't get out.
UC Davis, the arborist consultant person, was like, you need to get the rocks off the roots, off like at least like a 6-foot radius, I think he told us, from the trunk, and you need to get the underlayment that's not breathable, that plastic PVC garbage out of there because it's compressing and killing the tree.
So the cloth stuff is kind of okay.
It's better. It's better than. Certainly
plastic
better than plastic.
Yeah.
Ideally, you don't want anything because
Yeah.
Anyway.
Because nature.
So I am always leery about my oak trees because, one, I've dug enough holes back here to know that once you get so far, that they're probably not taprooting as much as they are spreading.
Why do I get the impression like your backyard is that movie Holes? You know what I mean? Like if I was a listener to this show,
to some capacity,
like there's just hundreds of holes in your backyard. You're looking for some treasure.
I was going through old pictures and I went, "Wow, that was a big ass hole. That was a big ass hole. I've moved a lot of rocks."
Have you seen that movie though?
Holes,
yeah. With
Shia LaBeouf was in that, wasn't he?
Yeah. Good movie.
That's all I know about it.
Oh, okay.
They dug a bunch of holes.
It's like
looking for treasure.
It's like a prison work camp for miners. And they take them out to the desert to dig holes because they're looking for a treasure.
Oh.
They're using the kids as like
slave labor?
Yeah. To dig holes.
You learn a lot about yourself by digging fucking holes, I tell you. Shit.
Out in the desert.
Yeah. You're going to get learned real fast.
That's what I'm picturing in your backyard. Like, come here, son. Take this, dig a hole right here.
Just pretend it's Minecraft and dig a fucking hole.
Yeah. I hope
Are there diamonds back here?
Hope
no.
You're not burying me in this hole.
Fall asleep.
Hey, why don't you dig this hole and just lay down in it?
Quick.
That reminds me of Step Brothers, where he digs the hole and he starts burying him in there. He's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I'm burying you."
What do you think, dumbass?
I'm burying you.
You're getting buried.
Anyway.
So now I can look forward to probably, at least, it's one of those things where you, now that I've rebuilt a couple of the other segments of the fence,
yeah,
like the urethane 2-part foam that I used for the
helmet.
Free fence.
I'm sorry.
The helmet? God, what?
I don't know.
God damn.
Your foam helmet.
God. Oh, yeah. Well, you could use it for that.
I don't know.
So the Z post, the galvanized Z post, instead of putting like the circular ones in, I'm going to use those.
Yeah.
The urethane foam, spreading foam thing for not your helmet, but for instead of having to use cement because it's probably going to be wet. And then it's probably staggering slats, so I've got a wind.
Here's
break,
what you need
less
to do.
of a wind break and
you
more
need to
of a wind
design
pass.
slats that when the wind hits a certain mark, they just and they open up and let the air through, and then when the breeze goes away, they and they close.
But that would
just do it.
What if I was naked in the back, sunning on a windy day?
I don't want to hear any excuses.
Oh,
I just want to drive by when it's windy and see results.
Okay.
So make that happen.
What? I can't. What?
I don't know. I'm in.
Do you need T-posts for your fence to keep it up?
I just need new fence. I mean, all the 4x4s are all rotted out, so it's just gonna be.
I was worried because I don't have the truck.
Yeah.
So I was worried that if I don't go get fence parts,
well, there won't be any
by Saturday. That I won't be able to get, and then I'll be fucked for another weekend.
It's going to be on big demand this weekend,
right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, fuck. How do I go get some of these posts at least before there's nothing there? Because it was windy enough to where people are probably fucked all around.
Oh yeah, all over the place. Our neighbor across the street, their house is on the corner, and their fence is at a 90. And the front side, so the house faces like across from us. It doesn't face at us directly.
Yeah.
The front part of their fence just fell over, and the rest of the fence, like down the street, was all up. And we were like, "Oh, damn! They lost part of a fence." And then within probably an hour, maybe 9:00 or 8:30, after I looked, all of a sudden I looked out there, and the owner of the house, because it's a rental. The owner of the house was out there fixing the fence and putting it back up. But they lost the fence, and I'm sure a lot of other people did.
Oh, yeah.
The thing is like all the houses in the neighborhood are all roughly the same age. So they're all going down at the same time. All those fence posts are all just...
well, I think this morning Venus was like, after I kind of like done a once over, it had stopped raining for a bit. I took a break, kind of gave like a reassessment. She's like, did anything else fall? I'm like, fuck, we've replaced all the other lines of fucking fence. There was nothing else really left to fall because we've essentially replaced everything.
I mean, to be fair, you do have a lot of fencing.
Yeah.
You got quite a bit.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all good neighbor fencing, really. If you were doing it right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
there's a lot of that.
Yeah. But we have the main two fences that we have that need to be replaced are good neighbor fences, but it's going to be one of those things like what you did on this fence over here on the front, where I'm just going to go start replacing shit. I'm not going to go bug somebody,
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the gate's ours, so it's like I just have to figure that out. Just have to build a new gate.
How like rough length of, is it like
it's not huge.
16 feet or like one segment of a panel?
Oh, it's a few segments.
Is it?
Yeah. On both sides.
Oh.
And we've known it,
Guess who's digging holes?
Yeah, digging holes and running 2x4s. Running some lumber.
Oh. Oh, you like that run, huh?
Yeah. Speaking of lumber, a month ago, practically, I bought a new computer, finally.
Yeah.
And it came today. I'm so excited. I finally got it.
Yeah?
Yeah. I mean, when you order a machine and they're like, it's going to be a month and a week, and you're like, really?
The flight tracker conversations were so robust.
Will,
I could feel the hard-ons from Will as he's talking about like, ooh, yeah, it's in Louisville.
He really knows his.
Oh yeah, I was telling Piper, I'm
logistics.
like, he's like an avionics fiend.
Yeah,
like he's on it.
Well, the fact that he started dropping like URLs for like, oh, here's a flight tracker for this flight that's coming from Kentucky, and here's another one that's coming from Kentucky, and it's like, what the hell? I didn't even know
I didn't know these
Kentucky.
people were out here, and all of a sudden, what?
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, my computer's coming from China. They're gonna like fly it into like the Bay Area, and then it's gonna come on a truck to this area, and then I'll get it. No, it flies to Alaska. Well, first of all, it goes from China to Hong Kong to Taiwan, then to Alaska.
Wow.
And then I'm like, oh, it's in Alaska. It's already on the West Coast. Yeah, I'm going to have it in a matter of days. No, it flies to fucking Tennessee. Kentucky. Louisville. And I'm like, what? Wait, you missed me, man. Like, I'm right here.
You guys went hours out of your way.
You know, in my brain, I'm not thinking about like customs and shit, but that's where they fly all their international stuff to go through their customs, and then it spreads from the hub out. So, and then there's flights that go from there either to the Bay Area or into Sacramento.
Yeah.
And I didn't know. I just figured everything went to Oakland or something. You know what I mean?
I would presume something. You would think, but again, the customs thing is probably the hiccup there.
Yeah,
it's
so
easier.
It ends up flying into Mather, and like he's like, oh, well, here's a flight that flies into Mather from there, and here's a flight. He already knew. Like, well, if it didn't make it on this one, it'll probably be tomorrow. And I'm like, fuck off. I want it now.
I would like to know that it was here now.
Yeah. And then like the scans that I was seeing weren't jiving with the flights. And I'm just like, are they behind? Like, I don't understand.
Will's like, I haven't nutted yet, so it's not here. You'll know. You'll see the skeet hitting the deck.
Yeah.
That's your hit.
It was funny because I go, oh, look, it left Louisville, and here's the flight. It's going to be here in 45 minutes. And he's like, I'm so proud. And that just cracked me up because it was like...
And then he was like, I can hear it landing.
Yeah, because he's basically right next to Mather.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's crazy. But came today... I saw the truck out front. I hopped up and all, woo! And then I recorded it, like him walking up to the door, and
with your ass cheeks pressed against the window. Hey, Mr. UPS man. Was it UPS or FedEx?
UPS. And the funny part is I was so excited, and I get it, and I hook it up, and I was like, transfer from a backup, and I'm like, okay, this is gonna take a while. I'm gonna be here for a while. So I start that process.
Yeah.
I think I started that process at like 3 or 2:30. And when I left the house to come here, it still had 13 hours to go.
Oh.
So I might get to use it tomorrow. You know. Yeah.
Good luck. But it's in your house.
I have it. It's in my house. It's up and running. It's importing all my stuff. So
doing the business.
It is doing the business. So I'm excited. It's like the first Mac I bought for myself in a long time.
But you got good mileage out of the one that you had.
Yeah.
It's hard to bat an eye to anything that gives you probably your money back and then some.
Well, that's what was frustrating is I'm using this computer and it's like old. It's a 2011, so it's 10 years old. And over the weekend, or I think it was last week, I had to install something on there for work, for a USB to console cable adapter. So I installed these drivers, and then it's like, I haven't done anything that requires a driver in a while, but you have to go in and like turn it on. Yeah, I want this thing. Restart the machine.
Right.
So I install the stuff. I do that. Restart the machine. The machine will boot up, and then it gets to a certain point and just sits there forever, and it wouldn't boot. And I'm like, okay. So of course I'm booting a couple times. Doesn't matter. I'm booting with the shift key held down. That didn't help. And then I realize I'm fucked. For a work thing on my personal machine, I just fucked myself.
Yeah.
So then I had to do a complete restore from backup. Thank God for backups. And that took many hours.
Yeah.
Which is basically what I'm doing on the new machine. So that was like what, Friday or some shit? I don't even know. That was like, just happened. It was like, couldn't you just wait?
You cut it as close to the edge as possible, and it was like, I ain't done now.
Yeah.
I saw the shipping manifest, asshole.
Yeah. I see the tracking you're doing.
If they would have just come from Alaska straight to here, you'd been good. But now I'm going to fuck you.
Yeah, pretty much.
You want to go to Louisville? Fine. How about no boot?
Yeah. I was telling my wife, can I just fly to Louisville and pick it up at the airport?
Hi.
Here's my tracking number and my ID. Can I have my package?
I would really like to get my Mac Mini now.
Anyway, so I'm excited. Can't wait to use it when it's actually done doing its import.
I was making a notice that neither of us won those.
Nobody really did.
Monster jackpots.
One guy.
Who
I don't know.
Do you know where the person that won the 950 was from, or the 1 billion?
I don't remember. Shanna.
Did you see it? I didn't see even who. I saw the 750 was from Maryland, but I didn't see who won the 1 billion.
The 1 billion I just heard was a one winner, and I remember them saying it was from some place, and then I don't think that person had come forward yet, so they didn't.
Oh.
As far as I'd seen.
Wow.
And I don't know that they're allowed to keep that private anymore.
It depends on the state.
Oh. Wherever you win.
Yeah.
But, I mean, can you imagine winning $1 billion plus? That's insane. I mean, you're only going to walk away with
it was 750 cash, I think.
Oh.
750 cash. So then out of that, I would just write off 50% to taxes just to be safe.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Well, there's some interesting things. So I'm interested in the HGTV Dream Home things. Have you know about those?
Mm-mm.
Every year they do this dream home where they build this house, and it's always gorgeous because it's an HGTV giveaway promotional thing.
Okay.
So they build these houses, and they pimp them online. Like, check it out. This is the dream home, and you can enter to win.
Okay.
And you can enter to win twice a day. And some of them are gorgeous, and some of them are like, okay. And they're always in a place where you're like, I don't think I could live there.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the houses are always really cool, but they're worth a shit ton of money because they've built this tremendous house, and they give you usually it's a GMC something or other, and then I think this year was $250,000 cash along with the home.
Okay.
Which I assume is part of that cash is to help pay for taxes and stuff. I don't know. But I'm super interested, and I did a lot of reading at one point about how people deal with winning those homes because they can ruin you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because yes. Okay.
Like
keep going.
taxes and shit like that. And then property taxes on top of it. And it's a home in a place that you don't already own property. And so just being able to visit your own property for some people is really difficult.
Right.
So a lot of times what they do is they take ownership of the property as a business, not as a person.
Okay.
Which
Makes
is weird.
sense.
Yeah. So they create you get a lawyer involved, and you create some, I don't know if it's an LLC or whatever it is, and you take ownership as a business instead of as a personal thing. And that helps protect people from all kinds of stuff, I guess.
Right.
But makes a big difference. And then most of the people sell them fairly quickly. Some people have tried to give it a good, the old college try,
right?
But find out that it's harder than that, Yeah,
that makes sense. Because a lot of times, I think I've heard and read and seen that kind of thing with people who win cars. It's like, here's a $60,000 Mercedes on something, and it's like, well, yeah, it's free, but now you are responsible for the taxes. And if you're
a check for $7,000,
you're a low income, middle income kind of person who's on a game show, or you win a raffle or something. It's like, well, you're not going to have $15,000 to $20,000 in cash, license, doc fees, whatever, to take ownership of this Ford Raptor or Porsche Carrera GT3 kind of thing. It's like, so it's like, congratulations. I don't have that kind of money.
Yeah.
Well, you won. You're like, fuck, I didn't win anything. I'm fucking poor.
I can't afford to get my own winnings.
Does it have cash?
Because I think you have to pay for the taxes up front or something.
I think you do.
And that's crazy.
I'm sure there are shenanigans around because the LLC thing also reminds me of I think California is a state you can do that with your lottery tickets.
Oh.
Like if you LLC and then you sign the ticket over to the LLC, that's a way to cover yourself from being identified.
Oh, really?
As the winner.
Are we a state that allows you to be anonymous from that standpoint, or is it?
I don't remember. I think that's I think that God. I think when Venus looked it up moons and moons and moons ago, that was the way to semi-protect yourself from being anonymous. Because I think in California, if you win, your identity is
known. Well, it's scary because you win, especially if you're a guy that wins $1 billion.
Right, $1 billion, dude.
You're going to have people coming from out of the woodwork.
Turns out, all you had to do was open up a Robinhood trading account and just buy $25,000 of GameStop stock.
That was okay. So I have to admit, I don't know a lot about that side of the stock market. I understand like the straightforward buying and selling and that kind of stuff. But the shorting stuff, like, I didn't know how that worked, and so that video that I posted was very eye-opening.
Oh yeah, the TLDR.
Yeah.
On the GameStop thing.
Yeah. Very interesting. Didn't know that was even a thing, and so you and I were kind of talking about it a little bit in the Discord chat.
Yeah.
About the expectation is that they're messing with the system. They've messed with the system, right? So if you
we're talking about if
you don't know about this, that we're talking about the GameStop stock price that just went nuts, and it was forced by a sort of a Reddit forum, where they
GameStop is in a bad way.
Yeah, and basically they have investors that are banking on GameStop tanking, and so they short these. They basically borrow shares and then sell them to somebody else or something, or let somebody else borrow them. I don't know. It's really weird.
Right. They kind of hold them in lieu while they then make a bet that they will end up less than they are, but they still have to have ownership of the stocks themselves. So
that they could sell them back and make money, sell them back to the person they got them from, but make money on them still.
Right.
And it's a weird thing, and so the Reddit forum realized that the shorts on the stock was super high compared to the number of actual stock that was in
right.
In
and the
production.
whole concept is like self-prophesizing. So a lot of these large hedge funds will take this perspective of this company is going to tank and own the stock on that perspective, and then go out and publicly try to tank the company. So they perpetuate the thing to make themselves more money.
Yeah.
And then, as I said, this subreddit caught on that A, it was GameStop.
Yeah.
B, this company had apparently just wronged somebody somewhere, rubbed fur wrong.
Is that what happened?
Yeah. So it was just like someone had enough, and plus it just happened to it was like a conflux of nerds, Reddit, GameStop, and this butthurt ass hat hedge fund guy taking the shorting position, and they made a rally.
Yeah. So what they did is they basically start buying up stock that is in high demand, and because it's in high demand, that forces the price up.
Right.
So it's all supply and demand, and when the supply becomes shorter and the demand becomes higher because all these guys have the shorts, then now the price soars.
Right.
And that screws everybody that are banking on it tanking, which now it's not. So fascinating stuff, and I mean, I think it's a game, right? It's like
absolutely
that is the stock market. It's all public information.
Yes.
That's how they know.
Right. And there are
lots of companies that go through this that don't have this happen.
This happens all the time.
Yeah.
It's kind of just one of those things like, are there rules? Absolutely. Are the rules in some cases just overlooked or not paid attention to because this is just this is just kind of how it goes. Like
Yeah.
politicians lying. It's like
It's expected.
It's expected. This is how big business and hedge funds work. Like in this instance, someone had just had enough, and they had enough of a social grouping and an opportunity with the current tools in non-commissioned trades to be able to find enough people to actually continue to buy the stock that it went the other way.
Yeah.
Is GameStop any more or less valuable than it was in August? Absolutely not.
On paper, it is.
Yeah, but
I mean,
but in digital
money,
numbers,
yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
But as a business plan way to generate money and to reorganize, this has really little to nothing to making GameStop a viable entity anymore.
All the players are outside people.
Right.
All the people that had
Yeah.
that made an effect on this stock price are people outside the organization.
Yeah.
So that's what's fascinating.
The guy that I keeping tabs, I was telling the whole story to Piper last night. Like the all-star guy that keeps running back into some of the stories is the one that in August bought $50,000. And last night when I told the story to Piper, his $50,000 in stock in August had turned into $22 million.
Uh-huh.
This morning, it was 41 or 42.
Oh, damn.
And this evening, as I was setting up podcasts, so it's 5, 6 o'clock, end of business day.
Yeah.
The 40 to 41 million was now pressing 50 million.
Oh, wow.
So obviously this guy's money is worth nothing if he holds it all the way till it collapses again.
Right.
But if he calls it quits at some point and cashes out, he is way above 50,000.
Yeah.
And these guys, this subreddit, they're teeing up the next set of companies. Like this whole machine of hedge funds deliberately shorting companies that may have an opportunity to turn themselves around, but hedge funds or Wall Street is going to control the narrative and just control the business into the ground.
Yeah.
With some of these retail trading applications and the visibility of this itself, it is literally one of those things that now you can't unsee the possibility that there is an opposition
Yeah.
to the status quo.
Yeah.
And obviously there are people that are probably going to lose, commoners
Yeah.
that are going to lose money.
Yeah.
Hopefully but most likely it's not going to be the scale that the hedge fund guys are going to lose money.
Yeah. I mean, if they're smart,
this is the game.
they're gonna buy it and write it up and then sell it and be like,
Well,
we made some money off your.
But yeah, they're teeing up the next set.
Yeah.
Nokia, they want to drive Nokia back up.
BlackBerry, I think.
BlackBerry,
Yeah.
AMC, the movie theater company. Now that one's an interesting one because their stock is so low right now because pandemic, right? Whereas GameStop and probably Nokia and BlackBerry, those to me are like tech companies that have hit their prime and they're on their new niche is on the way out.
Right.
AMC is unique in that their problems and financial difficulties are all stemming really from the pandemic.
Yep.
You get vaccines out into the wild. You get people back out into the wild. And as soon as
studios making movies
right,
again.
as soon as actors, studios, the whole Hollywood machine gets going again, people will want to go to movies. Will they want to go in the levels pre-pandemic? That's a variable, but people like movies, people like big screens, people like good audio, people will want to go see popcorn movies in a theater.
Okay,
so I think that is a turnaround possible.
Okay, so I know that their business is basically zero, but I mean, I always got the impression, and I'm not saying that I don't go to movies, because we have gone to some movies recently, but I've been under the impression that the movie theaters were struggling even before the pandemic.
I think they were a little bit.
Yeah.
probably. Obviously.
I mean, there's so many options now. You have so many streaming services.
Right. I mean, given a chance, I'd rather probably go watch a movie over at Mike's house because I know the shit that he's got in there.
Right.
Right. Yeah. Who's to say? Movie prices were certainly going up.
Yeah.
I was going less to movies.
It takes a really good movie or
something that I'm already baked into.
It takes something for me to get really excited about going to see a movie.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll go see a movie because my wife and my daughter want to go see something. You want to go see it? Sure, I'll go see it. But if I want to go, if I'm like the driver of the person, if I'm the person deciding what movie is going
right.
It has to be a compelling movie for me to want to see it.
Absolutely. And I've dad life, work life, that filter of what is worthy to go see has become smaller and smaller.
Yes.
It's things of late in the last couple of years, probably 5 years or so, have gone so quick from theater to digital, where it's almost less of I'm not having to wait 6 to 8 months anymore. No. 2 months after a thing, I can get it digitally. So
everything's
it's not really a hardship.
That process is so sped up now.
Right.
Like it used to be a movie would go into theaters for a couple months. And then you would wait a while after it left the movie and then the VHS or the DVD would come out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But now it's the movie seems like it's in the theater for 3 weeks or something. And then
they're double dipping digital or they've just flat out removed it from the theater.
Yeah. Or it's hitting streaming service super quick or something,
Yeah, and I see some the HBO Go or HBO Now, whatever they evolved their latest one into, where they're doing theatrical release and digital release for a certain amount of time, and then it's gonna finish a run in the Wonder Woman thing, the 1984. They had kind of hemmed and hawed on that one. Obviously, that's a little bit more in the thick of the pandemic, so people were still apprehensive about theaters in general. But I think that one, the way that one was taken as far as relative to how it was compared to the first one, they may have saved themselves some publicity and not having it only in the theaters and people coming away with it was okay. But when you can see those kinds of things first experiencing your home, you may be less likely to be audible about, I spent $20 a ticket, went to see this movie, and I wasn't blown away.
Yeah.
Whereas if it's on HBO Go and you're
that's the other thing is I can't go to a movie and not get popcorn and a soda of some, or a diet soda or something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's on top. If I'm getting a soda,
it's a $30 per person experience almost at this point.
Yeah,
if you're getting
everyone's getting something, so it's that adds up quick. I mean, I can make damn near theater quality popcorn at home. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And whatever other fucking snacks I at home.
Right.
And it doesn't cost me that much. It's very inexpensive.
And I'm not wearing pants.
And it's my own big screen with my own surround sound, and it's fine.
And they're doing is it Warner Brothers? I can't remember. Universal. I think it's Universal that's tied to the HBO platform. And they're doing, I think all throughout the year, they're doing the double dips. The new King Kong one will come out on HBO Go for a while. The Matrix, whatever else their platform is. Whereas I just saw something, I think it was, so I think they're tied to Universal because I saw a thing about the new Top Gun Maverick.
Oh, yeah.
Which I think is Warner Brothers. They're no, theater only. In July, I think they're doing July. It's I mean, you're rolling
the dice. Is that going to be enough though to get people to go to the theater?
I don't think so. I think especially when you see some of these platforms are let's put it in as many places as we can. Mm-hmm. It's I get confused the Black Widow, the Marvel Black Widow movie. It's I think that one's been done and in the can for half a year at this point, but they refuse to put it on Disney. It's like I will watch that right now.
Well, I just wonder if...
But now it's like I start to lose interest in some of these because it's like I'm not going to the
it's going to come out and you're going to watch it. It's still, regardless, you're going to
probably
still see it.
But if they had tapped that vein, right at the peak of people still interested in having watched like Endgame or something, or the Spider, something like they had just kind of come off, just not quite down off the high, and it's like, oh, you get back right on the horse.
I don't think it's that at all. I don't think that's that at all. I think what happens is you have a production cost involved in some of these films,
right?
That they're not going to make back if they just drop it online somewhere. Like the subscription service is not going to pay the bill.
But where does that end versus losing consumer interest? Because now you're going to go up against something else that's digital, or now you're running into other movies.
You still have like an original thing that no one's seen before, right? So it's like you're going to generate interest in that alone. And I think that their intent is to, well, when the pandemic when theaters start opening again and we can release a theatrical release.
This is your come back to.
Yeah. And we'll make your money back on our production that we spent how many millions of dollars in production on, not just filming, but also in the special effects artists and all that kind of shit. And the sad part of it is it doesn't make the film any better.
No.
It just makes you wait for stuff. It's like everyone's just in a holding pattern because theaters aren't open. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think you're still going to end up watching it. It doesn't matter when it gets released. Just because you know about it, that's the shitty part, right? Because like the anticipation of it, it's like me waiting for my Mac to come. It's like the anticipation of it sucks. You know it's coming. You know it's there. You know they've made it. It's just sitting there. But the fact that they won't release it, because if they just release it out to a streaming service or DVD, they just won't make the money back on it. I think that's what happens. I honestly think that they really need those ticket sales up front in order to sort of put the down payment back into their production cost. I'm guessing. I can only guess at this point.
It would be interesting to see how much of those costs in producing material and shipping of media to various houses, theaters, and all of the protocols involved in that is reduced when you just release it in a digital medium that you don't have to worry about all of those humans.
Let's think about this. When you are a movie studio and you release a film to theater, it's not like you're even you're producing a file that gets sent to the theater. Your production cost on that process is very little. You're literally paying someone to manage like where they go. It's all encrypted video files that can only be played by those theaters. So that's where the money comes, but the ticket sales is what brings that big money back into the production, right? But if you're going to be making Blu-rays and DVDs and combo Blu-ray and DVD packs, you're producing plastic, you're producing printed stuff, you're making discs, right? You're making all that, and then all that stuff has to get shipped out, and it has to infiltrate the market,
right?
So your costs on where the file would have just been sent to the theater and ticket sales and the money would have just come. Now part of that cost is going to be eaten up by the production runs of discs and plastic and shipping and logistics, right? So you're also not. You might make money on the bits and pieces of people buying it,
right?
But every household's going to buy a copy of that. So that's cost on every single piece that you're fronting. So you're getting less back. You know what I mean?
Do you get less or more? Like if 100 people
So 100 people go to the theater.
If 100 people went to the theater, how much of the ticket?
I don't know.
I think that's part of like the thing for me. And say if I buy a 2-day rental of King Kong at $17.
A 2-day. Oh, a 2-day. A digital rental.
A digital rental. $17.
Okay.
For a new movie.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's only one purchase.
Right.
But there would be 4 people in the house. So they're not going to get 17 times 4. They're going to get 17. But if the studio gets $15 of the 17 as opposed to $5 of a $15 ticket or a $16 movie theater ticket, does that ever meet a point to where they actually make more, not having to worry or pay or cover any costs of having to put it in a theater, as opposed to we don't have to manage it. It's all just digital bits and bobs.
I mean, I hadn't really considered that. I mean, they are still taking a cut because the theater's got to pay their people and blah, blah, blah. So there is definitely that side of it. I don't know what that ticket,
I don't know either.
The ticket breakdown versus a digital download.
Because we had seen
rental.
Someone had started making a thing about it. And this started early pandemic. I think it was there was a Trolls cartoon Pixar-y type of thing that raked in like
we were
230, I want to say easily over 200 million gross.
Yeah.
So if you were to look at that gross,
model,
right. If your end game pulls in 230 million of a digital release only, and you pulled in 230 million of a theatrical release, what was your profit versus in-person ticket sales? I mean, obviously you hit the same cap.
Yeah.
So did you net a higher percentage of digital 230 million versus the ticket-based 230 million? That's what I would like to know.
That's a really good
question. Because I'm
wondering
because obviously the whole Universal thing, they're double dipping. Some bean counter, I think, has figured out
some ratio.
Quite possibly, black and white is neither the best case scenario. So what we're going to do is we'll double here. Like Wonder Woman is what was it, like 2 weeks or 3 weeks on HBO now, and then you can only see it in the theaters if you want to go to theaters. So they're kind of like, we get that some of you don't want to fucking go out and get COVID.
Yeah.
So here's some. I think, obviously, and they base their whole year model off of that. I think they're double dipping that way. So it's curious to me to see the dynamics.
Well,
and that's why movie theaters, AMC, is that unique situation where it's like, I think people will eventually go back there, so buy their stock. Make me rich.
That's true. I mean, the machine has definitely lessened the output. I mean, you definitely see that.
Yeah.
But that's a tough question. I'm not a bean counter for any of the studios or any of that stuff. I'm just surmising. I have no idea.
Disney too, right? So we've seen the Disney Plus platform.
Yeah.
Their memberships and their outlooks on creating in-house series like The Mandalorian.
All right.
As opposed to theatrical release movies, they've gone that way. Right. They're Disney, whatever they're.
It feels like it's a model that they're sort of borrowing out of the Netflix playbook, right?
Right. But if you're looking at like a studio like Disney, who's looking at who's like reading the tea leaves, and they're seeing, regardless if you pull COVID out of the situation, if they're seeing more money to be made from creating Marvel and Star Wars based series that have the length and duration of probably like a sequel movie series, like a Empire Strikes Back and a Return of the Jedi. So you've got probably 6 to 7 hours plus in a 10 episode series internalized on their platform instead of a movie, like to me that starts to say something. And if Disney's the one doing it, to me that starts to say something like some bean counter is starting to do math that perhaps getting people into theaters is starting to lose momentum. Lose money, who's to say? But when someone as big as Disney starts saying, we've got 15 to 20 streaming series coming out in the next 5 years or whatever it was,
Right.
instead of 15 to 20 movies,
Right.
that says like, oh, this is how interesting this is.
Well, I think it's just sort of lucky for them that they sort of launched Disney Plus.
Oh, yeah. I mean, how would you know? That was
They had no idea.
the epic dice roll upon dice rolls.
Yeah.
And then to have Mandalorian hit all
Right.
cylinders.
Right. But it seems like, I mean, sure, they got The Mandalorian, and then they have all their other Pixar and regular Disney films and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But you look at what they're offering, maybe all their shells were in The Mandalorian basket, which has been great. It's a good series.
Yeah.
And I wonder what that discussion was like when that series was being brought up into like the idea process.
Oh.
Do we want to do, I don't know, like a TV style series that we could put on Disney Plus, or do we want to do a 3-movie series that we can release out to theaters?
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm sure there had to have been some discussion at some point, like, I don't know, let's do a series that we can put on Disney. We need Disney Plus to have some weight. That's where I really looked at that.
Yeah,
the way I looked
I
at
can see that.
Where Netflix has gotten really good, like Netflix originals and all this kind of stuff, they're pumping out all kinds of production on that streaming service. They just have a broader audience.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Disney is very Disney. The Disney Plus is great. I love it. We use it all the time. But also, it's just Disney stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Where Netflix, you're getting every kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know? But there was definitely, like, The Mandalorian helped. Now, whether or not it made them any money, I have no idea. Because they're not
They
pushing...
made a lot of my money, I can tell you that.
Well, they're not pushing out anything to the theater because nobody is.
Right.
So, I mean, I can't imagine they're doing very well.
Really?
I mean, Disney Plus is probably doing okay, but parks are shut down. The movies are,
yeah.
I mean, Disney in
I mean,
general.
when you factor in the parks not being operating.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because,
Well, except
$11 fucking churros.
Florida.
Take-
$11?
I don't
think
know.
they're like
But I would
7
pay
or
whatever.
6. It doesn't matter
I
what
don't
they are. If someone could just tape it to their groin, you would still eat it.
I would, yeah. Yeah, I would. I'd straight to the taint.
Wait, is that a churro or something else? That
I
you
don't
got
know.
Cinnamon covered. I don't know.
God, sucks to be you because it's hot down here and it's all gone. But there's still cinnamon and red hot dust down here. I'll get it. Just don't move.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, so
Yeah.
I don't know. It's all. I think we're all speculating, but
Yeah.
it's interesting things to think about.
Yeah, and I think we've been touching on it for almost a year at this point. It's like I think the businesses that come away from this trying to read like what's the new norm. Not just necessarily entertainment. But, I've seen a number of businesses like work in general. I think my employer released their like quarterly earnings, made money, but it also published in like their earnings call kind of thing. It was like they're looking to reduce real estate up to like 20%, thousands of square feet, because bottom line is people can toe the line remote and as much as probably some project management styles would like you to be face to face with somebody. Well, when the company is being forced by the government regulators and Wall Street and shareholders to cut costs, and you look at what happened this year, and everyone had to go home, and the business gets to write off climate control, leases probably to some capacity, facilities cost, and.
Yep.
And they made money in probably the worst possible economic situation possible. Well, you don't have to be a fucking genius to go, well, if the projects all hit, and we made money and we cut costs, and all it did was involve letting people work from home, well, some of those lines of businesses are probably going to carry that over regardless of vaccines and whatnot.
Right.
So, the restaurants that have found a way to make, whether it's food jets or their own delivery services work, cutting costs in the kitchen, creating streamlined online menus, container companies that keep food hotter longer. The businesses that come out here in the next probably year and a half, I think will be
gold when everything opens back up.
I think they will.
Yeah. It's interesting.
And we're close because, obviously the vaccines are starting to take hold in some places, and the plan looks pretty aggressive that there is one now. So
there's a plan now?
Yeah.
I thought there was a whole
Well, the previous plan was get it, hope you live.
I don't even think they said that.
No. But that was implied, so
it was like, well, we have a name for it.
Yeah.
What was the name of the operations?
Warp speed.
Oh,
for the vaccine production?
We have a famous name for it that everyone wants to talk about, but I think that's all they had.
There's credit for the first batch of vaccines. I'll give them that. But
is there? I mean, okay, they got some out the door, but
I had just read a thing that press had asked one of the gentlemen, so is there reserves like there was in the prior administration? And the person said, no, we're not holding anything in. As soon as it's produced, there's no stockpile.
Right.
It goes out the door to a state. States are responsible for distribution.
Yeah.
We are not holding anything in reserve to then deal it out later. As soon as they make it, bink, out the door. Now, states coming up with a fucking plan.
California is one of the worst.
I have hard time trying to talk good things about, goddamn, fucking plan. Make a plan.
I'm kind of surprised by it all, and I don't know if it boils down to the individual companies that are handling the output of the vaccine to people.
Yeah.
The giving it out, because it seems like everything's disorganized, and that doesn't have anything to do with the state necessarily. The state has done their job in making sure that these places have vaccine to give away.
Yeah.
But it seems like the companies that are doling it out to people are dropping the ball on organization and stuff like that. My father-in-law, he's in his 80s, went and had his finally, but it was a process for him to get an appointment anywhere that he could go get one. And
really?
Then even after he had an appointment, he was like, it's like it's not even that there's an alert. You don't even get an alert. Hey, there's vaccines available here or there. It's like word of mouth stuff. It's like, oh, so-and-so's getting, they have a thing at at the fairgrounds. You should go there. And it's like, oh, should I? I have an appointment already. If I can just wait, until Monday, I'll get my vaccine on Monday. And then I was saying to my wife, are you guaranteed you're even going to get your second one in a month? Are they going to have any vaccines then?
Right.
And then what happens if you don't? Is it less effective?
Well, and then you got the asshats that are chasing sites to try and get ahead.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah.
I get it. In some situations, there's surplus of vaccines because some people aren't showing up. It's I would rather have a vaccine hit an arm than go to waste.
Yeah.
But the chasing of vaccine sites to try and get one before your turn comes up to then possibly not get the second dose, which I believe both of the current ones require you to have. It's well, all you did... you did nothing. You took a vaccine that really could have been doubled up in someone who had it coming. You just removed that from the table.
That was my other thing. I was like, I assumed when you got your first vaccine, they would just make an appointment for a month out, and so you would come back in a month and get your vaccine.
Yeah.
No. Apparently they have I guess they do like a 2-week follow-up kind of thing to make sure everything's going okay.
Yeah.
And then
did you die?
And then you make another appointment. And see, that seems flawed right away. Like, you should have your appointment when you leave from your first vaccine.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to get another shot in a month. This is your day. Come back on that day.
Leverage the thing that's on their phones.
Yeah.
Like, have you gotten a shot? Yes. Like,
well, and that's the question. Are they even going to have any vaccines for the second shot? I mean,
what'd you have the first one? Pfizer. Oh, sorry. We don't have any more Pfizers.
Yeah.
And you're on your second week. It's
yeah.
like, well, fuck, now what do I do?
Yeah.
Is the first one even
I mean, I guess you have a card that, in theory, you could make an appointment somewhere else if you were able to find another appointment, and then the card just gets filled in with the second dose if you can get another shot somewhere else. But I would assume that whoever it is you're getting your shot with would be invested in you getting your second shot from them.
Yeah.
But it doesn't seem like that's the case.
I hope with the ramp up of production, probably our biggest concern about getting the coordination done, it becomes almost like a fucking CVS and your flu shot.
Yeah.
You just
go to Walmart.
They're so prevalent that making the second appointment or making your first appointment is like, I'm here for fucking COVID shot.
COVID
okay.
2. Yeah.
Bink. Yeah. Get an arm shot. See you in 2 weeks. Is anyone going to contact me? Sir, we've got plenty of these. Just come back in 2 weeks.
But that's not what's happening.
But we're not there yet.
No.
Because inventory is not there yet either.
Yeah.
I hope by the time it gets to us plebeians,
well, I mean,
they solve that problem.
Some of us are essential workers too, so
Yeah.
I mean, my wife is
eating the churros.
She's teacher's aide, so it's like her priority getting a shot you would think would be very high.
Yeah.
But it's like, I don't think that she's even slated until February, March or some crap like that. It's like crazy.
I think they just did a educators, teachers thing press release today. Like they were trying to move teachers up for schools, but I don't know if that changes March or whatever, February, March.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly, but I remember it going like, that seems like a while,
Yeah.
And that's the thing, is there's so many people to give it to. First of all, you've got people that are getting one, and then they have to get a second one, and you still have millions of people that want to get their first.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's pretty difficult. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is there. California's definitely not doing a very good job of it, for sure.
We got a ways to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm hoping now that there's more of a plan and someone just cranking out both of those vaccines, that it gets a little bit easier across the board.
Is it, I don't know. I have no idea. Is it, I assume that you have to let your insurance know? Is it like your insurance pay for it? Is it free to the person getting it?
I have no idea.
I
have no idea the mechanics.
I'm just curious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Raj didn't.
He has Kaiser, I think, so Kaiser's a little bit different beast than like your standard like run-of-the-mill insurance. I'm pretty sure he has Kaiser.
I almost get the feeling that when they're talking about those chasers, there's probably little to no paperwork involved. They're just fucking putting shit into arms, because if you
bring your card,
if you show up and you're not on a list anywhere and someone's still giving you the fucking vaccine, like, are they really giving any fucks about payment or health care? I think they're just shooting arms.
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know.
Because to me that would be like, sir, do you have paperwork? Like you're over 65, essential worker. Like, I don't know. Do they turn that person away? So if they're not having to ask those type of financial and or healthcare questions, that makes that whole chasing thing seem a little bit more easier. Like, they're like, hi, welcome up, next in line. Yeah. Also, suck my dick. What?
Well,
You want vaccine? You want the second one?
The flu shot. You go get the flu shot, and it's like your insurance card, and I need your ID, and you fill out the form, and there's all this crap you got to do, and then finally they, and get the shot, and I don't know, maybe that's why
get on your knees.
Nobody was getting a shot when I was there. I have no idea, but it just seemed. I don't know if that's the same thing with the COVID.
I have no idea
stuff.
I would imagine there's probably paperwork and
I assume
no money changing hands. We're at time.
Okay.
I
don't know what to say about that.
Hey, if you're noticing and you're watching the YouTube episode, I don't know where it came from, but I'm wearing a green slouchy beanie that showed up on my doorstep. So if you apparently listened to the last episode,
that's hilarious.
two packages just sent to Lord Fu here at the house.
Oh, that's funny.
With slouchy beanies, because I had mentioned that they were on my Christmas list in the last episode. If you're the sender of said slouchy beanies, I'm actually wearing one of them in the YouTube episode, so you can see it. Thank you very much. I don't know who you are, but I really appreciate it. Keeps my head super warm. Thank you.
Nice. Right on. Well, that's doing the kindness for sure.
It is. Yeah. It is. So be sure to wash your hands.
Wash your ass.
Return the cart.
Wear your mask.
And keep doing the kindness. And thank you so much for the slouchy beanie.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
We'll catch you next week.